Hi, I'm Sandy Babb. Welcome to my studio. I'm here to do a flip through of my finished #JustJunkJournal Challenge Journal hosted by Dear Julie here on YouTube. The challenge has come to an end. I have my journal at the place where I need it to be and thought I would just share with you what I came up with. So this is my cover of my journal. My journal measures 9 inches high by 6 inches wide, and it's 2 3/4 inches deep. It has 8 signatures. This is a non-sewn binding. This is called a twine binding that I did, and it has 4 signatures on each side. My journal is done in a gatefold style, so it opens in the middle and folds out. I used 48 sheets of junk paper. There are 6 sheets per signature, which gives you a total of 192 front and back pages to work on. It's quite chunky, and it already looks like it's pretty quite full. The good thing about this is I'm not going to be adding like a traditional junk journal where you add a lot of embellishments and building things up. This is mostly going to be for writing, and I reserve some pages for painting, tucking in some little notes, various things like that. I'm not going to do a lot of embellishments, the word I was trying to get off my tongue. So I think it's going to be fine for that. I did make some paper beads. Whoops. Some paper beads. These are made from the brown packing paper. This is a chocolate bar wrapper that was glued to a piece of the brown packing paper so it would roll, and a little bit of the text from the book. The leaves I just freeform stitched from pieces of the calendar, and I've got those on both sides, just little dangles, because I wanted my nature journal, I wanted it to be a nature journal, and I wanted it to be a pretty, even if I'm using junk, I still want it to be pretty. So the front 2 pieces and the back piece of the journal are made from a box that one of my granddaughters received a doll in for Christmas. So this is the box. The side pieces are made from a cereal box covered with pieces of calendar. And my reinforcement on my seams is made from brown packing paper that's been stitched and inked and glued on. And then this piece in the center was made from the calendar also. The bird image and the quote came from the calendar. I used 2 of my 6 items that we were allowed, which were these gold brads on here. Used some of the cardboard from this box to make my, holders and everything. And some of my twine binding to make the closure. And this is how it opens. The inside has been, I've got to go back, I haven't done this part yet. I've got to go back, and I'm going to use some of the same leather paper technique that I showed you in one of the tutorials in making this. I'm going to go over my brads, the backs of my brads, so that they don't show. I have not gone back to do that yet, but I thought I would sit here and just kind of flip through my book. It's in 2, like I said, 2 sections that fold over each other. I'll kind of hold it up so you can see it. This was a piece of a magazine that I used. This is a pocket from the calendar. This is just some little tiny envelopes that was in one of the tutorials that I showed you on making this book. This is the back, and this is also a pocket. Now, you're not going to see a lot of decoration here because, like I said, this is mostly going to be for me for writing, so I'm not going to have a lot. I did go in and put some pockets in, and I have a few embellishments in here, but mostly pocket things that I can keep little mementos and notes and things like this. This is a piece of vellum from the book that I used. This is a piece of packing paper for a page. This is the paper that we made in one of the videos that I shared with you for fusing plastic and then painting and sealing this paper and stitching it. And I'm going to use these pieces here as small canvases to do some painting in my journal. These are pages from my book. This is another tutorial that I showed you how to do, how to use cereal bags, the inside bag of, inside the box of cereal, and paint and stitch, and how to make paper out of it. So I have that for journaling. And some of these pages, I don't know if I'll end up covering them or painting on them. Like I may just do some gesso, a light gesso over them, and that way I can write on them, and I don't, they're not, my writing is not obstructed by this writing. So I haven't really decided on that, but there's another piece of the painted paper, the more vellum. This is another magazine. This is the magazine, and the pocket is a part of the calendar. This is one of the tags that we did in the tutorial that I showed you how to make the tags out of the tea bag. And everything here is made out of junk or things that were cast off. My goals for this book were, I knew that I wanted it for my gratitude journal and little sweet memories and things I want to remember throughout the year. And I wanted a place that I could do some writing and some painting or sketching. Keep little, like I said, little mementos or whatever. But I wanted my journal to be cohesive, like with a theme or a color or something. So I chose nature because that kind of is my thing and that's what I really like. But I also wanted my journal to be pretty. I did not want it just like, paper packaging put all together, and that's not my thing. So here's another magazine page. I'll more than likely end up putting a booklet here. I left that one blank. I will put some little booklets in here to write things in. Another book page, more magazine. This one was an envelope, that you get in the mail, like a return envelope that you get in like a bill or something. And I saw this tutorial on Roxy Creations, and I loved it, loved it, loved it. And so I did one of those and made a little notebook and put on there. And have paint on the back. Here's another page out of my book that I've turned over and stitched and made it into a tuck. This is one of the iridescent envelopes from one of the tutorials that I did for this series. More vellum. This was a graham cracker package that I stitched into a bag. This is the belly band, one of the belly bands that I made in the tutorial. And I've just got it stuck in here until I'm ready to put it on a page. So it's just kind of holding it there for me, where I won't lose it until I'm ready for that. More vellum. This one I did as a flip out, where you can do things on that. This is the back side of the envelope. This is another little magazine page. This was magazine. This is calendar. This is just an image from the calendar. Some tiny little envelopes. More just, really the pages sort of repeat themselves. This was one of the tags that we did in the tutorial. One of the tutorials that I did. I've just got it stuck in there right now. And I'm not positive these are going in this book now that I made them. I know that sounds weird, but I'm just not sure. Another piece of the fused paper bags. Vellum. This is a magazine, and I did show a little tutorial on this. This is actually a pocket that you can put things in, on both sides. And I'm just going to kind of flip through the rest of these pages because you're just going to say, it's the same thing until I get to something different, and then we'll talk about it. This is the only piece of vellum I was able to do right side up because the quotes ran over and I didn't want to cut them off. And here's another tuck spot with a different envelope that we did on the tutorial. And here's another of the cereal bag pages with the journaling blocks. Another flip out. See, that one flips that way. And I think that's going to get us quite through the first signature. The second one is exactly the same. It's got all the same kind of pages in it. I'll just kind of flip till I get to something that's different. That is a pocket at the top. I don't want to keep you just looking at the same thing. That's a pocket. Here's another one of those envelopes that we did in the tutorial in a tuck. I can put little things in. Another piece of the fused bag, vellum. This other half of an envelope. This is another belly band. It's the same design that I've got stuck in there just for safekeeping. On this one I stitched some of the calendar around the envelope window and did another little notebook on there. I will be adding some more little notebooks. I just don't have anything made up right now. I haven't had a lot of time, so I haven't even started working in this. It's maybe going to be a February to February journal instead of a January to January, since we're already at the end of the month. This is another tag, a little pocket tag with a journaling spot on the back with some little clothing tags that have been made into little journaling tags. I've just got it tucked in there for safekeeping. Another cereal bag. This one is just a little side pocket here that you can put things in or journal on the top. Another cereal bag page, more vellum, yet another iridescent envelope. I don't know if you can see it shiny. This one was a magazine page that I just took a quote from the calendar, and this is a Ritz cracker package that I fused, and I did show a tutorial for fusing these kind of little bags. And these are little things that were left over from my calendar that I will probably use when I work in this book, so kept those in there. Some more magazine images, and brown paper and vellum and fused paper and book paper. And like I said, and this challenge was really hard for me because I don't have a lot of junk. Here's another tag back here in a pocket. And then this is another pocket. Then I did a cardboard pocket out of the same box material. And I've used some of my fused envelopes, and I have some smaller calendar images, some calendar pieces of paper that I might want to use and decorate with, and some fussy cuts from the calendar. So I just tucked all those in there so that I would have them when I do work in this journal if I want them. And for what I have left, just fold these over and close her up. What I have left of my journal is, or my supplies, what I did was to gather them together here. Let me just pull this over. I can show you what I have left. I have this that I can make some little, these are just little, can't get my tin open. Oh, it's because I'm trying to open the back. I have a bunch of little scrap papers that'll be really good for making some clusters. And I have this box of things that I had gathered in my junk pile that I didn't use. And so I have quite a few things in here that I was going to use in the journal, so I'll probably end up using those at some point. Then I have everything cut from the magazine that I thought I might want as an image or a journaling spot. Like I could put paper on the back and just tuck these in little pockets and stuff and write notes on them. So I kept those. I kept the rest of the images from my calendar. I cut out everything that I wanted and just tossed the rest. I had a little bit of my brown paper left, a little bit of my tissue paper. I had some quotes and some titles from the magazine and the calendar. I had some word pieces that I wanted to keep. I had a little vellum and the fly papers, and then this is the rest of the book. So I've got all these put together and ready so that whenever I do work in this book, I can grab this one pack and what's here or what's here and have everything really coordinate for this book. So I want to thank Julie for hosting this amazing challenge. I am actually surprised I finished it. My goal was to do 2 books, and that just didn't quite happen. So I do have, like I said, my little things here that I'll be able to work on. And I have my big journal here, and I am ready to start enjoying each moment as it blossoms deep within me, just like my book says. I'm ready to start counting my blessings in this book. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned a few things. I do have a tutorial series on this book on my YouTube channel. It is under my playlist as #JustJunkJournalChallenge. It'll go through the intro showing you all the pieces of junk that I chose, and tutorials throughout of the making of this journal, with the exception of the last minute additions of my embellishments. I just needed to get these done and didn't have time to tape, and so I just kind of finished them, but you can see from where I stopped on the video to this. And I really hope you will try this, and I really hope it encourages someone who says, you know, I can't afford to go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's or wherever and buy all these supplies. I hope this shows you that you don't really need that. Get creative with what you have. And I'll tell you, I didn't even use everything Julie said we could, and I didn't even use all the things I picked out for my junk. I don't have paper trails in my house. I don't have junk mail. I had a really hard time with this, and so I was just trying to find things that I did have and figure out creative ways to use them to make myself some paper and some embellishments, and you know, come up with a journal. So you can do this too. So thanks, Julie, for hosting, and thank you for joining me, and I will be seeing you around the studio.